Hello, and good morning. Good morning, Sin. Hello, John. Welcome to Glitter Goddess Yoga. Trying to hold myself accountable for being a little late, but also trying to be gentle on myself at the same time. Today is Monday. Happy Monday for y'all watching live. Motivation Monday flow. It's a little more active. We get the breath going. So I'm excited to practice with y'all today. I think Trent's going to join me in a couple minutes. As always, because I can't respond to your body in real life, please take care of your body. Move with intention in between poses. Be within poses with intention. Pillows and blankets, I definitely would encourage for this flow, and some hydration. So to get started, we'll sit tall and long and roll the shoulders back. Just tap into the natural breath. Maybe close the eyes. You can listen to the flow of air in and out. And as you continue, try to elongate each breath. And from here, I'll invite you into what's called the three-part breath practice. So from here, you can bring the left hand to the belly and the right hand to the chest. And the three-part breath practice invites us to think of our torso here as three different parts. We have the lower belly, the mid, and the upper chest. So as we inhale, we bring the first gasp of breath into the belly like this, and the next into the mid chest, and the rest right at the top. As you breathe in at the top, you might raise your chest a little bit, the shoulders might open a little bit wider. There's an invitation to hold the breath just for a moment at the top before exhaling. And your exhale can be fast, it can be a quick release, almost like a sigh, and it can also be the slow ocean breath exhale. So to practice, I like to start with just doing some slower inhales into the belly before I bring the breath up to the second and third part. So I invite you just on your own time, find the three-part breath, find all of the space that you can possibly fill in the lungs, using the diaphragm first, pulling the air down deep toward the hips, another breath of air into the midsection, and the last sip of air into the upper chest. And then releasing everything out. As you release, it's okay to let the chest sink in a little bit. It's okay to let the shoulders fall a little bit. And for your last round of breath, I'll join you. You can release your hands. We'll practice this, hands in our laps, breathing in. And exhale. As you get to the bottom of your exhale, round the spine, bring the chin to the chest, tuck the hips. Just be here for a moment. And let's sit the spine back up. Bring the shoulders out wide, puff the chest forward, tall, long spine, and drop the head over to the left. Just opening up the right shoulder, keeping the right shoulder down and back. And to add a little more intensity, you can reach out the right hand far, spreading out the fingertips, and use the left hand to grab the back of the head, the side of the head. And now turning toward the shoulder, you can grab the back of the head. Continuing the breath, bringing your inhale in 3 parts. And when you're ready, you can release. Roll the head to the other side. Keeping the left shoulder down and back. Maybe stretching out the left arm. Reaching the fingers toward the floor. Grabbing the side of the head with the right hand. And then you can turn toward the shoulder, grabbing the back of the head. And to release the right arm, let's just reach it up long overhead and drop the left hand completely to the ground. Stretch the whole right side body. And drop the right hand to the right side. Lift the left arm up and over. And return back to center. From here, we'll bring the left hand to the right knee and the right hand behind us for a twist. Turning the chin all the way to the right. Using our 3-part inhale to sit tall and long. Using the exhale to twist a little bit deeper. After your next exhale, let's lift the arms up and over, drop to the other side, right hand to left knee. Inhaling the 3-part breath to sit tall and long, exhaling to sink deeper into the twist. And on your next exhale, you can release. We'll inhale to roll the shoulders up and back. Exhale, release the shoulders down. Inhale, roll the shoulders up and back. Exhale, release. Inhale, shoulders up and back. Exhale, release. This time we'll bring the fingertips to the elbows, inhaling to raise the elbows up overhead. Exhale to drop, creating big circles, inhaling, shoulders up. Exhale, release. This time create big circles with the hands, large circumductions with the entire arms. Release, one more big circle. And release. This time let's send the arms out wide and cross the right over the left. Give yourself a big hug. And then bending in the left arm, you can keep that right arm long. Dropping the right shoulder down. Maybe rotating in the right wrist. Let's send the arms out long one more time. And cross the left over the right. Give yourself a hug, and then bend in the right arm, stretching out the left, keeping the left shoulder down. We'll rotate in the left wrist. And as we release, let's continue to rotate here in the wrists. From here, we'll press the palms into the floor, facing the fingers toward the body. And start to first press into the fingers. Maybe adding some topical heat, releasing some tension here in the forearms. And after you feel like your wrists are a little bit more open, meet me in tabletop. And I always like to suggest a pillow or blanket beneath the knees for a little bit of comfort. And in tabletop, we're making sure that the wrists are stacked below the shoulders and the knees below the hips. We'll start with some cat-cows, inhaling to press the chest forward, hips up and back. And exhaling to round the spine, bring the chin to the chest, tuck the hips, maybe create some space between the shoulder blades. And find this at your own pace. Continuing the 3-part breath inhale, I invite you to find a nice long, controlled exhale. And from here, we'll come to a neutral spine. Let's send the right leg out long behind us, tucking the toes. You can press back into the heel, opening up the calf, engaging in the entire leg. And to really warm up the leg here, we'll lift that right leg, finding a flat line between the ankle and the head. Maybe rotate here in the right ankle. Engage in the lower back, engage in the entire leg, pressing the heel away from the body. And from here, we'll drop the right knee back down to the mat. Let's send the knees a little bit wider, touch the toes behind us, and send the hips back for child's pose. Here you can let your forehead touch the floor, releasing the shoulders and the neck. Let the upper body just hang heavy here, let your weight just fall. You can come to this pose, child's pose, at any time throughout the flow. Maybe take a moment here to check in with the breath. And when you're ready, we'll press back up through tabletop. We'll send the left leg back this time, tucking the toe, pressing into the heel. And pressing into the mat with both hands, we'll raise that left leg, finding length here. Engage in the lower back, engage in the glutes, pressing the heel away. Maybe point and flex, rotate in the left ankle. And we'll drop back down to child's pose one more time, sending the knees a little bit wider, touch the toes behind you. This time you can crawl the hands up over your head. Let the elbows hang heavy. And from here, we'll crawl the hands over to the upper right side, sending the left hip down and back. And take a moment to crawl the left hand a little bit further. Reach the left hip down and back a little bit more. And we'll crawl through center, reaching the hands up to the left. Crawl the right hand further away from your head. Reach the right hip down and back a little bit more. And when you're ready, crawl back through center. Let the head hang heavy here. And we'll check back in with the 3-part breath here. Inhaling into the deep belly. Inhaling again into the midsection. And the last sip of air filling the upper chest. Before exhaling, slow and controlled. Once you've made this connection with the breath, we'll press back up into tabletop. Again, checking in with your stack. And once we're here, let's reach the hips up and backward like we're in downward dog. But crawl the hands forward, pressing weight into the palms. Not allowing the forehead to hit the floor yet, just pressing back with the hips, opening up the shoulders, opening up the chest. Finding a big, deep 3-part inhale here. And on the exhale, you can crawl the hands back up into tabletop. From here, we'll send both legs long behind us, tucking the toes to a plank. You can drop the knees as a modification. And slowly, with control, we'll lower the hips down into the mat, pressing up, opening the shoulders, opening the chest for upward dog. Finding length in the neck, being careful not to drop the head back. Pressing forward with the hips and engaging with the lower spine. And from here, let's tuck the toes behind us and reach the hips up and back for downward dog. Keeping bent knees here, you can pedal into this. Press the heels back and forth into the mat. And bringing the feet to stillness, let's crawl the hands toward the feet. And just hang out here in forward folds, keeping your bent knees. Let the head hang heavy here. And on your next inhale, let's rise up for Shavasana, raising the arms up overhead. And on the exhale, release Tadasana, arms by our sides. You can flip the palms outward. Open the shoulders. Maybe press the toes into the mat, finding grounding in the feet. Checking back in with the breath while we're here. On the next inhale, we'll raise the arms up overhead again, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, swan dive down for forward fold. Inhale, flat back by pressing into the shins. Exhale, forward fold. We'll bend the knees. Let the torso hang out here. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. And on the next inhale, we'll raise the arms up overhead again. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Tadasana. We'll run through this sequence one more time, inhaling the arms up overhead. Exhale, swan dive down for forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold, bending the knees. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale to straighten. Exhale, bend. From here to press up into chair, we'll use the knees, pressing the hands into the legs. Finding a flat spine by reaching the hips back. Opening the shoulders, open the chest. You have the option to keep the hands here. You can send the hands up overhead. You can have the hands at the hips. Maybe take a moment to sink a little bit deeper into the chair. And on your next exhale, round the spine, just fall forward into a forward fold. keeping the knees bent. And from here, we'll crawl the hands forward for downward dog. Pressing the heels back. Opening up the backs of the legs. Stretching out the muscles we just engaged here for chair. And from here, keeping the hands and feet where they are, let's come to plank, lowering the hips down, finding a long spine. And you can press up into upward dog, opening the chest, opening the shoulders, engaging the lower back. Finding an inhale here. On the exhale, let's tuck the toes and raise the hips up and back. Maybe finding the full expression of downward dog here. And again, we'll crawl the hands toward the feet for forward folds. Keeping bent knees here, let the head hang heavy, let the arms hang heavy. On our next inhale, we'll raise the arms up overhead, Urdhva. And exhale, arms down by our sides, Tadasana. Before we move forward, I invite you to take a sip of water. And if you have pillows and blankets, we'll set them up in front of our feet. We'll come back to Tadasana, rolling the shoulders back, finding grounding in the feet. We'll inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale to swan dive down to forward fold. Inhaling for flat back. Exhale, forward fold, bending the knees. Inhale to straighten. Exhale to bend. Inhale to straighten. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale to bend. And we'll come back into chair one more time. Again, reaching the hips up and back. From here, you can come to prayer pose with the hands. And twisting the torso over to the right side, you can use the left elbow against the right knee. Opening the twist a little bit more, pressing the hands into one another. Keeping a constant breath here. And release, undoing the twist. You can let the arms hang heavy, keep the knees bent here. We'll inhale again to straighten. Exhale to bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. And we'll twist to the other side, bringing the hands to prayer. Pressing the right elbow onto the left knee. Reaching up and back with the hips. Maybe sitting a little bit deeper into the chair. Being aware of the breath here. When you're ready, you can release back down to forward fold. And we'll curl the hands beyond our pillow for plank. You can let the hips fall down onto the pillow. Pressing forward with the hips. Using our support to open up the upper body. To press the chest open. To press the shoulders open. Last breath here. We'll tuck the toes behind us and send the hips up and back for our last downward dog. Take whatever you need in this last downward dog. Maybe figure eighting in the hips. Maybe finding the full expression. And from here, we'll press into plank, keeping the arms and hands where they are. And I invite you to lift the right leg up and drop that foot between the hands for plank. Here you can press the pillow back to find your knee, your left knee, and check in with the stack on the right side, making sure that the knee is stacked directly above the ankle. Here we're working to press the left hip forward, keeping that 3-part breath here. From here, you can press the left hand into the mat, raise the right hand up and over. Making sure not to sink into the left shoulder here. And we'll bring that right hand back down next to the foot. And we'll bend in the left, straightening out the right leg. Folding over our right leg, opening up this hamstring. It's okay to sit up here if this is too intense on the hamstrings. It's okay to round the spine, reaching the forehead toward the knee, and it's also okay to press the chest forward. Either way, we're finding that controlled inhale here, pressing the heel into the floor, maybe bending a little bit in this right knee. Let's find lunge one more time, bending into the right leg, stretching the left leg back. We'll take a last breath here in this pose. And let's tuck the left toe behind us, pressing into the mat with both hands. We'll send the right foot back to meet the left. for plank. And in this plank, you can keep the knees down into the pillow, or you can have the knees floating. Engaging in the chest, pressing into the mat with all points of the hand. And let's lift that left knee, drop the left foot between the hands, allowing the right knee to fall onto the pillow, checking with the stack on the left side. Breathing into the right hip, pressing the right hip forward. And you can press into the mat here with the right hand, opening up by lifting the left hand up overhead. Let's drop the left hand down to frame the foot. Bending in the right leg, straightening out the left. For our hamstring stretch, again, you can round in the spine. You can sit up completely and find how far to press the chest forward. Either way, we're pressing the heel into the floor. Checking in again with the 3-part inhale. Find lunge one more time. Flatten that left foot back to the mat, bending the left leg. Pressing the right hip forward for a couple breaths here. And tuck that right toe behind us. We'll float the knee, drop the right heel down, and just crawl the hands forward for a large, wide leg forward fold. You can use the pillow here to raise the upper body a little bit more, pressing into the pillow with the hands if that feels good for you. Some people like to rest their head onto pillows or blocks. Whatever makes you feel comfortable in this forward fold. Maybe sending the legs out a little bit wider. Making sure we're pressing into the floor with the heels, with the outer edges of the feet. And from here, let's position our pillow beneath our hips. Stack them high enough so that the hips can fall onto them for Shavasana squat. And here you have the option to stand up completely, send the toes out in the direction of the knees, and then squat down. Or you can keep the hands on the floor, send the toes out in the direction of the knees, and then squat the hips down. So it's up to you, however you'd like to get there. Doing it slowly with control. And once you've found your seat, Check in with your feet, with your ankles, that they're directly beneath the knees. Some people like to press into the knees with the elbows opening up a little bit wider. You can think of the action in the spine here just like you do in downward dog, sending the hips up and back, finding length in the spine, being careful not to drop the head back. Breathing into the hips. And for our last couple of breaths in this pose, I invite you, if you have pillows, maybe remove one, unroll a blanket to sink a little bit deeper. Open the shoulders, open the heart, send the hips back. We'll take a nice big deep inhale here. And on the exhale, you can send the hands forward, round the spine. Maybe press up into the hands for our last forward fold. Straightening the legs, sending the hips up and back. You can crawl the hands over to the right side, keeping the outer left foot grounded into the floor. And send the hands over to the other side, keeping the right foot grounded into the floor. And come back through center. We'll remove our pillows from beneath us. And however you'd like to get there from here, we'll meet seated. Maybe take some water before we cool down. Here we'll roll onto our backs, keeping the knees up toward the ceiling. If it feels comfortable for you, you can have a blanket beneath the hips or beneath the neck. And we'll start just by windshield wiping the knees back and forth, opening up left to right. Bringing the knees back to center. Let's have the hands by our hips, palms pressing into the floor. Grounding in the feet, we'll send the hips up, a bridge, pressing the shoulders into the floor, opening the chest, engaging in the glutes, engaging in the lower back. Finding the 3-part breath here, you can actually see the belly rising on the inhale, the chest opening up by crawling the shoulders closer. And on an exhale, you can round the spine, bringing it back down to the mat. Wiggling our hips into the floor, we'll send the left leg up long. And drop the left ankle onto the knee. We'll thread the hands behind the right thigh, folding in here, bringing the left ankle toward the chest, maybe pressing away with the left elbow. Here we're working to keep a flat spine against the floor, working to bring the legs closer to the chest. Let's engage in the left ankle, keeping the left foot flexed to protect the knee. When you're ready, you can release, dropping the right foot and then the left foot down to the mat. We'll go back into the bridge one more time, pressing the hips up, crawling the shoulders closer together. Finding the 3-part breath here, inhaling into the lower, mid, and upper chest, and exhaling slow and controlled. One more time, inhaling to the lower, middle, crawling the shoulders closer together for the upper. And as you release, bring the spine flat down to the floor. We'll raise the left leg. The right leg. Drop the right ankle onto the left knee. Thread the fingers around by the left thigh. And working to keep the flat spine against the floor. Maybe pressing away with the right elbow. Breathing into the sensation, keeping the right ankle flexed. Last breath here, I invite you to find an even flatter spine against the mat before releasing both feet back to the floor. Let's hug the legs in, bringing the knees toward the chest. Give your legs a big hug. Maybe take a little rock back and forth. And from here, let's open the arms out wide. Bring the soles of the feet together. Open the knees. Let the legs fall to the floor. Allowing the hips to open up here. Allowing the knees just to use gravity to open up the hips. From here, we can release the 3-part breath. Let's just take an inhale into the chest, press the chest forward, find some space in the lower back to lift up from the floor. And on the exhale, you can release in the feet, send the feet out long, sending all the limbs out long. Just release into the floor for Shavasana. Using your exhale to let the entire body sink into the floor. You can use your exhale to release the hips and the lower back. Releasing on the exhale, the neck, shoulders. Take a moment to notice the energy buzzing through the body. Take a moment to be aware of the amount of blood pumping through the body. Aware of the heart doing the work it needs to send nutrients to every inch of our being. In our last couple of breaths here in Shavasana, I'll invite us to take a big, deep, long inhale. And on the exhale, you can sigh. Inhaling one more time. And exhale, sigh out. And bend the knees, roll over to one side to find a moment of comfort before pressing up to seated for our closing breaths. And once you're here, roll the shoulders back to sit tall and long. You can keep your hands in your lap, have your hands over the heart or at heart center. A breath for the ancestors that we bring to our practice, and for the indigenous people who are here on this land before colonization. Breathing in and out. A breath to thank yourself for your motivation today. Breathing in and out. A breath to appreciate others for their support. Breathing in and out. And a breath for the wellness of everyone practicing with us today. Breathing in and out. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with us today. As always, we are taking donations. We have Venmo at the Glitter Goddesses, or DM us to donate any other way. Hit us up also. You can DM us for feedback. We'd love to hear feedback. We're here every day at 10 a.m. with an extra class on Saturdays at 5. Is it Saturdays? It's Thursdays. It's Thursdays. It's Thursdays at 5. Yeah, that's about it. What's going on? The show's over. If you haven't seen the Tapa show,
go see the show.
Yeah, it's so good. That's it. You can find the link at tapaprovince.org/dance.
What are you still doing here? Go watch.
Bye.